Welcome to a fabulous Friday afternoon at Aberdeen Beach, in February no less. Today I'm taking part at one of the longest standing races in Aberdeen. It's a 3k along the beach, which starts off at the beach leisure centre, works its way all the way down to Fittie, and round past the lower Proms. This race is a series of 6 a year, which starts off in October and ends in March. I've taken part in this quite a few times. It's a really nice race. But being in the winter, the weather's usually terrible. Today, I would say is an exception because the sun is out, but unfortunately, the wind is blustery. It's all about the fun. So let's go and get registered. Hello. Hiya. Did you come this morning? I have.
Good.
Like.
And we're off. That's the start of the February 2024 edition of the Aberdeen Beach Proms 3K. The start always feels great in this race. It's a psychological thing, knowing it's a short race, so you just think you can stay in this pace throughout. But in reality, this never really happens. I always go out a little bit too fast and then kind of die in the second half. As you can see, there's 4 guys that are up ahead of me here, and there's no way I can keep going to keep up with them. In fact, I was panicking a little bit because there's usually more people in front of me already at this point. As you can see, I've looked around here to see who's around me, and I see my mate Dave on the left, just appearing in and out of the picture here. Dave's just coming back from a long-term injury. He's getting back to fitness. As you can see, he decides to surge and create a bit of a gap, but I decide just to stick with him and stay as close to him as possible, as long as possible. So I still feel good as it is the beginning of the race. It's a lovely sunny day, as you can see. The sun's beating down. In fact, if it hadn't been so windy, it may have been quite uncomfortable to run in the heat. At this point, Dave has taken a little bit of a lead here, but I'm sticking with him as close as I can. I did beat him last month at this race, so I am sticking to him as close as I can. At this point I figured the gap wasn't actually getting much bigger, so I tried to close in on him a bit and kind of use him as a windshield. I was trying to keep it quiet as possible because I didn't want him knowing I was that close behind him. It's quite hard to do when you're breathing hard. Knowing him, if he knew I was right next to him, he would take a surge and just create a gap, and I did need him for a windshield. think at this point he realised I was behind him and he wasn't letting me anywhere near, and I had to swerve a little bit to avoid that bin. As you can see, another surge from Dave, making the gap get a little bit bigger, but I was determined just to keep going. We're starting to get quite tired now as we approach the halfway point. I couldn't wait to go the other way to get away from the wind. Can get quite busy here at times, but for some reason today there wasn't as many people milling about as it usually is. There's a few proms here, but it's generally a lot busier, like I said. Feel the gap wasn't getting much bigger at this point, and as we were approaching the halfway mark, you can see the other guys had turned. At this point, turned, and I was getting closer to Dave, which is always a boost. I could feel somebody behind me, and I knew they were quite close, but at this moment in time I wasn't worried. I was starting to feel that Dave was slowing down a little bit, so I decided at this point to maybe just put in a little bit of a surge and see if I can maybe overtake him. But again, he felt me and he's just put in that little bit extra just to create a little bit bigger of a gap. At this point I put in a little bit of a surge because I could feel the person behind me. I had a rough idea who it was, so I just kept going. Again, I felt like Dave had slowed down a fair bit here, so I thought I would maybe take the opportunity to overtake him. Obviously the person behind me felt the same way and overtook him. And then decided to overtake me and just sail past. That's Jennifer, she runs for Aberdeen, she's a great athlete. I could feel Dave breathing down my back at this point. I knew he was keeping up with me, but I felt since I overtook him he was maybe getting tired, so I thought if I keep going at this pace he might just drop off. I didn't want to surge anymore because I knew I would just get even more tired. Jennifer at this point was just creating a bigger and bigger gap. I did try and surge a little bit just to see if I could catch up, but I decided not to overdo it because I could feel the gap between me and Dave getting bigger. I just felt confident that I could just keep at this pace and I could finish off strong. Even though the wind felt like it was a headwind on the way over, I guess it was more of a side wind because I could still feel the wind hitting me to the side. I've definitely run in a lot worse conditions than this. This was actually quite mild, so I can't really use that excuse. navigating through a few people there, as you can see, and hitting this sandy area. It does zap your feet a little bit, and it does definitely slow you down. Consequently, I'd forgotten my racing shoes, so I was just running in normal everyday shoes, and it probably helped because the stability of these shoes is far better than any racing shoe with a carbon plate on them. Approaching the last bend before the final straight, and it's always tiring here because you just know, even though you turn around the corner, there's still a long straight. I looked down here because I could see Dave's shadow and I knew he was approaching fast, so I put in a surge and just thought to myself, if I maintain a gap, then he's not going to overtake. I blew it because I got so tired. I just couldn't help. I had to slow down. And as I slowed down, as you can see Dave here, he just sailed past and just kept going. I gotta move on. In hindsight, I was thinking I should have just let him catch up with me and then just wait and surge, but I was just too tired. Dave clearly had too much in the tank, so he could have probably gone faster a lot sooner. And that's me crossing the line at 10 minutes 44 seconds. By far not the fastest I've ever completed this race. I totally enjoyed it. I can't wait till next month. Saying that, next month I can't race it too fast because I do have a 10k the very next day. And that's me recovering. I was absolutely spent.